Amanda. Amanda
saved us.
Amanda saved us.
I know.
How long did we do that for?
16 minutes.
60 minutes, and it was nothing but a black box.
No audio, no video. Great conversation.
I know it was. It was a great conversation. I don't know if we could do that again. We're live from the fair.
Try to replicate it.
We're gonna make sure we're on, so we're hoping that Amanda kind of texts us back here. As Lieutenant Malinowski checks his.
I know. Our manager.
Checking with the manager,
the station manager.
There we go. Meanwhile, we could people watch while we're
right,
like,
look at,
you know, we are good.
Yeah,
right. But I will say one thing before we start this over.
How much did you love that last interview?
That interview was one of the best interviews ever.
Right, I was like 16 minutes.
16 minutes.
Right,
16
Great
minutes.
Conversation. So everyone who missed it,
that little black square that's underneath this. Forget it,
right?
Because as long as you watch it, you're going to see nothing but a little black square.
Right. There was a great conversation.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it was.
Sure.
And also, we've been sitting here, people watching, and I know I'm not going to get into a lot of detail, but sometimes but sometimes you want to go. Have you looked in the mirror before you left the house and just say,
I got to leave that alone.
I know you do. It's
public
Lieutenant.
Servant.
Yes, you are a public servant and one of the best we have.
Right.
Amanda said we're good, right?
Yeah, we're good to go.
Amanda.
Yeah.
I wonder how that would work. Now, she's in television. I wonder how that would. Man, I'd be like flipping out.
I know.
No, we just did a whole newscast.
Right.
And we got nothing but black.
Good evening. Your news is just nothing but a dark screen for 6
But maybe that would work out all right nowadays.
Right. Well, hey,
you know what I mean? With all the bad news that's out there.
Enough.
But anyways.
It might be, a little bit of peace.
All right. So we're going to start this over again. And I'm Skip Clark. We're at the 92.1 The Wolf. And, of course, I have the podcast Skip Happens. And we tie it all together. And joining me today, again, is a very good friend, Lieutenant Matt Malinowski of the Syracuse Police Department. I know.
I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, welcome back.
Hey, you're a tax
chair didn't even get cold.
I'm here for you.
And we got to finish the wine slushies. We're good. We're good. But let's talk about the Syracuse Police and all that. One of the big issues that you're dealing with right now is getting police officers, the men and women, to sign up and become a police officer. Let's talk about the recruitment a little bit.
Yeah, love to. So I'll say kind of where we're at. Post kind of the all these reforms that we've had, and this we just got a lot of negative attention in the media, but it's been really hard to find police officers. But I'll say we need to hire about 45 this last time, and our last academy we put through 4 police officers. Four.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So
4, and you were looking for 40 to 45.
Exactly. So we definitely have our challenges, and it's no lack of effort. I mean, we do TV, social media, out in the community, billboards. We're trying to get people to sign up. And that's really our big push is reaching out to the community. And we really have to try to make policing a career that people want to do again. And we need our sons and daughters to really sign up, take the test, and keep our community safe because it needs it because crime's it's going up.
Yeah. And it's definitely not going the other way. That's
right,
for sure.
For sure.
So,
yeah.
And if somebody wants to become a police officer, you told me before, and you told me other times too, there are some pretty good incentives to get you to sign up.
These are historic incentives. We've never done this because usually we would have, say, 2,000 people take the test and we could pick, whoever we wanted. But now we're offering, if you sign up, you get a $5,000 bonus. If you're a police officer coming to the city, we're going to give you a $10,000 bonus to sign up and come be a Syracuse police officer. So yeah, we have those incentives. It's still a great career. Great benefits. It's a very stressful job. That's why you still get that 20-year. And you get a full or your pension, which is half pay for the rest of your life.
Oh, that's pretty decent.
Yeah.
Let's say you get in at 20 or 21. You're young on the totem pole, but by the time you're 40, you could retire, collect a great pension. I mean, a really good pension, and go on and do something else.
Yeah, and I would say that pension doesn't come at an easy cost because
these
men and women every day they go out and they really do solve the crimes that we see every day in the news. And so the pension's definitely something to say thank you for your service because it's stressful.
Right.
I'm here at 34 and I work out of headquarters. I'm getting gray hairs. So imagine the people working the streets.
Or you cut them all off.
I put a little spray paint in there for the show.
It's something we don't know.
Right.
We'll talk about that a little bit later. But some pretty good incentives. What do you say is the big problem right now with the crime? I mean, we're hearing about shootings left and right. Every morning I wake up and I go, oh, Matt must have had to get up there in the night because, there were 3 more shootings in the city.
100%. I think we could universally say there's just a lack of accountability. We arrest people, and I can point out several cases that happen, but a person with a gun with ammo in it that's illegally carrying that gun gets released the next day to on their own recognizance to come back to court. Like, we have people that have committed shootings that are walking on the streets again. So it becomes a challenge for us to try to, how can we keep the community safe when we're making the arrests, but people keep getting let out? It's frustrating. It really is.
Gotta be. I just maybe walking through here, you may see somebody and go, "I busted that guy. He hit it," you know, and then it kind of makes you think a little bit.
Well, just so people can understand this, if you commit, say, a petty larceny, and I give you your ticket, and then you go down to the next store and do it again, I give you your appearance ticket, and you go to the next store and do it again, I have no method to take you to jail to stop the madness. But if you've been talking about disorderly conduct, someone that's super drunk and fighting, and they resist arrest, that's still an appearance ticket. So it's
crazy
again. So it really, I feel like our hands have kind of been tied, and when we're just not going to be able to. A lot of our authority has been taken away. So yeah, that's part of the problem.
With this bad, apparently what we're seeing, a lot of people see it, and I know a lot of it, if not all of it, well, 99% of it is not true. Do you think that the media and social media and all that is kind of putting an emphasis on the bad things, or just what looks bad as opposed to what's the real story?
Yeah, so I love that topic. I'll say that in policing in general, or negative news, people like to see negative news, and I get it, and that sells. But the problem with social media is that you will see a use of force video from a police officer, say in California, that maybe he was wrong, but you watch that on your phone and you associate that with the Syracuse police. And that's the problem, that everyone looks on their phones and they see these 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 incidents a year. Trust me, if they're wrong, I'm against it.
Yeah.
But it always comes back to police in general, and that's the battle we're always fighting. And again, if you don't follow us on our social media pages and see all the good work we do, then you're kind of missing out, because I could name 1,000,001 stories that we've done since we've been pushing our social media.
And a good example is the girl that was doing the push-ups.
Oh, that's the best.
And then but
example.
The first thing that a lot of people saw was they got the impression that the police were making her do those push-ups, which was 100% wrong.
It was. And then, I spoke with the detectives on that case, and they had called me pretty emotional, be like, this is not the right story. We need to fix this.
Right.
And we went out and we're like, we're going to fix this, and that girl, she was so embarrassed. And we were like, we don't want to discourage her from being a police officer, because that's who we need to come up. Right. We need our youth to come be
She
police.
wanted to be a police officer, and she was proving a point that she could do it.
But it was great, though, because we got the biggest teddy bear we could find. We gave her patches and coins and bracelets, and she's showered with SPD now. So, and I know from something like this, I know they're going to keep in touch with her. But that's the recruitment in the 21st century, is you have to invest in people. We no longer, people are not begging to be police officers anymore. So that girl, I hope we keep in touch with her, and I know they will. And hopefully maybe she'll come on here one day and be able to tell that story, because it's an amazing story. Yeah,
it really is an amazing story. Another story that comes to mind is the child that was put in the back of the police car. Apparently stole some chips or something.
News. Yeah,
it was national news, but you only saw one side. You didn't see everything else that went on.
There's one thing I can say here, Skip, and I've been doing this for 3.5 years. I will say, you need to get the full story before you make a decision. So that means checking multiple sources, asking different people. Don't go off that first video, because more often than not, and a lot of politicians do this, or a lot of really celebrities do this, they react to the first video, but then when the facts come out, they have to backpedal. I want to save people from doing that. What you got to do? Take a moment, take a breath. I know that's going to affect you, but look what's happening. Get all the facts and then render your decision. But that's another example where we took that kid home, we talked to the parents, and it was spun that we were this authoritarian regime taking him to jail. I mean, but it's a prime example. It just was not what happened.
What you respond to a call. There's domestics. There are just nuisance calls.
For sure.
But what goes through your mind when you respond? Because you really don't know what you're getting into. A call that maybe just sound harmless could turn into a tragedy.
For sure. So I with all due respect to my coworkers who literally do the arduous work every day, and they fight with guys with guns and get them off the street. So I appreciate them for that. I will say that for them, and I did that job obviously before I was here, but no, there's no such thing as a routine call. And, I think a lot of us take our security, right now, we feel safe. There's no problem here. And we take that, I think, sometimes for granted, because, again, we have how many state troopers here, plainclothes Syracuse police protecting us.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that. Go ahead.
And right now, if something happens, we're going to need these men and women in uniform to protect us. And that's really just what I want people to understand. Appreciate you feel safe, but know that comes at a cost. And there's police officers that are providing that security.
With the state fair, thousands of people walk through these gates every day.
Yeah.
And does the Syracuse police play a role in protecting us here? I know the troopers are here. I think I see the town of Geddes.
Yeah.
Other law enforcement agencies. SPD is part of
Sure.
that, correct?
So the one thing that I definitely upstate New York and Syracuse and Onondaga County is good in is collaboration. And I'll say there's many times, especially with our dirt bike detail, or if we are chasing someone, say we'll use the Onondaga County Sheriff's Air 1 unit.
Right.
We'll use the helicopter, right? So I'm glad that, but yeah, we have a presence here, and we're really here to make sure that if anyone from Syracuse that might want to cause harm, a gang member, someone we know is carrying a gun, we're going to be able to identify them, because troopers work all over the state. So that we're going to be a little bit more intimate with the people that work out of our city. So yeah, we do have a presence here, and we're helping to keep people safe. And yeah. So
that's crazy. Crazy good. I don't mean crazy like crazy. Like I'm watching people walk by and going, that's crazy.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, no, as you see it yourself. But that's good. And we are so blessed to have people like you on the force and the SPD doing everything they do. Do you ever watch those videos on YouTube that maybe you do, maybe you don't, but I catch myself watching those. If I go to my Facebook and I go to the video portion, people are always recording the cops.
Yeah.
They get pulled over and they got their phone recording that whole conversation. And, and you get the whoever's being pulled over going, I don't have to tell you who I am. I don't have to roll my window down.
First Amendment type people. Yeah. The auditors. Yeah.
I just see a lot of that happening now.
You know, it is, and it's frustrating, but, you know, we also record everything as well now. We all have body cameras, so it's the same thing. I think that you have people, like, we invite you to record us. We're not afraid for you to record us. We ask you to, but the one thing, if you're going to record the police, just do it from a safe distance. The problem becomes that people want to be agitators and get in our face, and this is really what they do. They will record you so that you make a mistake, and then they can go and put it all over YouTube. But that, you know, now they can license those videos and make money off it. So these are like professional agitators, and that's what I don't like. Like, I get it.
Yes.
If you record something that's clearly wrong, I'm all about it. But when you go and try to get a human being that's a police officer so agitated that
eventually,
okay, so sometimes they lose their cool or something happens. That for me, that's the challenge for me, right? Like, that's where recording the police becomes a problem.
I see a lot of those out there now, and it seems like there's a lot more. And it's just, I think that just kind of adds to the problem of what's going on.
It is. It's a business for some people. You know, it's how much can I get this police officer to, you know, overreact or be emotional, and then I can go sell the videos. Yeah, it's frustrating.
Another question: if I was to get pulled over when I leave here today, how should I act?
Okay, I love this question too, because, you know, can you name that any point we've had like getting stopped by the police training? It's nowhere. It doesn't exist. It's
probably different every time.
Not in schools, but we don't teach it in high schools. But yeah, the biggest thing, and what's important to know, when I get either pulled over or passed by a police officer and I see him in the median, my heart skips a beat. I get a little bit nervous. Everyone does it. It's human nature.
Yep.
So what people have to understand is that as much as you're nervous, the cops are nervous too, because when they are coming up to that vehicle, they don't know that you're not wanted for murder out of a different state or something, or, you know, and I could show you 1,000,001 videos where someone pops a gun out and shoots. So the tensions are high for everybody. But the thing is, keeping those hands where we can all see them, right? Not reaching for objects, you know,
reaching under your seat.
Yes, and then keeping the tensions where they need to be is important.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought here. So.
Well, he's going to be promoted on.
Friday, dude, yeah, excellent. Congrats, and give him a shout out.
Huh?
Give him a shout out.
Eric Sisley, our new sergeant.
Yeah, sergeant. I love it. Congrats, buddy. Congrats. But when you stop somebody, okay, so I kind of lost my train of thought. But walking up to the car, you get all nervous. Just as well, I'm nervous too. If I was the driver,
emotions are high.
Emotions are high. You don't know what to expect. Now, when you pull somebody over, though, you run the plate before you get out of the car, so you pretty much have a good idea of the record of whoever's driving that vehicle.
Yeah.
But
yes, sometimes. But, you know, a lot of times you'll see where you run a vehicle, they have switch plates. So now you don't even know who's operating the car, right? So you might think you have the registered owner. That's the problem. They'll switch plates. When you get up to the car, you might deal with someone different. And then you're dealing with a driver that may have no license. You got to run that. So there's so much going on in the officer's brain. Not only is he worried about the driver's safety, his safety, but also trying to figure out what's the truth. Is this the actual driver? And get to that conclusion. So yeah, there's a lot that goes on in a traffic stop. And there's no such thing as a routine traffic stop. Right. And that's, again, what I just need people to understand is that, okay, you ran a stop sign, you get pulled over. Just understand that cop doesn't know who he's dealing with.
Right,
till he deals with you.
exactly. Until he actually makes conversation, or
Yes. Yeah.
and it probably got a pretty good idea just from looking at
Yes.
you, whether body language probably says a lot. and
Goes
all
into
that
it.
as
Yeah.
well.
Are you nervous? Are you sweating? Like, yeah. So
Yeah.
you have to read the whole situation, and that's really what comes into play. And that's again where people don't understand until the tensions come down. So I always ask people, even if you're like wanted now, like, even if you do have a warrant, like, okay, we'll figure this out. We don't have to we don't need to escalate the situation. Is the
Right.
biggest key.
Right. What is let me ask you this. Now that marijuana, I mean, it's legal, right?
Yeah.
Correct. You
Yeah.
just can't sell it, or how does all that, like, for example, here at the fair, pot smoking, you can smoke if you want, right?
Yeah, so I don't know how it is on the fairgrounds, but I'll say in general on public property, yeah, marijuana is legal, and people still get nervous about it, but I mean, it is what it is. Yeah, it's legal now.
It just seems like, every once in a while you catch a,
I know,
it's like,
and
okay, where's that coming from?
I know. I'm like I said, I'm not personally a fan of it, but
No,
to
I
each
know
his
that.
own.
Teach their own.
But I will say the same thing with cigarette smoke. At least be respectful about it. I can't stand getting cigarette smoke blown in my face, and I'd say the same thing if again, if
Okay.
you're doing it.
So smoking a cigarette is one thing, smoking a joint is another, and if you get behind the wheel, then you could.
Yeah, so that's important to know.
that-
Yeah.
yes.
So even though it's legal to consume, like we're going to compare it to alcohol, you still have to be responsible with it. So if you are impaired and you can't drive a vehicle, yeah, you can still get arrested if you're swerving, driving all over.
So you would have a lot of those same indications that either you've been doing is smoking or you've been drinking, all that kind of.
Yeah,
same
so
type.
yeah,
I
so if
wouldn't be
you're-
able to,
Yeah, if your ability to operate a vehicle is impaired by you taking in these drugs, yeah, that's something you can definitely be arrested for. And it's reasonable, right? We don't want people that are impaired by drugs driving all over the roads. We all have to go to work. Or
Right,
we're going
right.
to go to church and whatever else. So again, if you're going to do it, just be responsible, like anything.
Yeah, I saw you. Of course, you're on CNY Central every Sunday morning.
Right.
Great segment, by the way. You were talking one day about, was it the guns, the
Ghost guns.
ghost guns?
I knew you were going to say that.
Yeah, the
People love
ghost
the
guns.
ghost
Tell
guns.
me a little bit about those.
The ghost guns is an interesting thing, and I think they've corrected this in the law. But there was a loophole that, like, you could basically order all the parts to a gun, and then assemble it yourself here, and then make it into a gun. The problem is that there was no serial numbers. We didn't know who it came back to. We knew nothing about these. So these guns were being carried, and there was no way to track them. So that was the problem. And not at all against the Second Amendment. I definitely believe in people's right to carry, but when you have guns that you can't even track back to people,
That's not good.
And the reality is, most of the gun owners are very responsible and they're good with it. But the problem is, we have a segment in our community that takes advantage of those ghost guns, and they really are causing a lot of havoc. And then it makes our ability to investigate these crimes very difficult because we can't track them back.
And before I let you go, we're talking with Lieutenant Matt Malinowski, the Syracuse Police Department. The shot trackers, what do they call those?
Oh, shot spotter, yeah.
Shot spotter. So were
Great
they going to
program.
do away with those? What's going on? I don't, I think it's a good thing.
Oh, it's 100% a good
But
thing.
wasn't there something going on that they wanted to not spend the money on them anymore or something? I don't know.
Well, there's a
I don't
few
know,
things.
Matt.
Well,
Maybe
during COVID, we didn't have the money.
okay,
But
and I
I'll
get
say that ShotSpotter, it literally can, and I would say that, sorry, I know they can't see this, but it's like a street length. So they actually, on a map, it goes on the officer's phone, but it's when in the street length, it will tell us where the gunshots are, and then we can go and pick up those casings and actually,
Really?
yes. But here's the thing: what's crazy? There's been multiple times you'll show up to an address and there's people on the front porch that shots have occurred. You found the casings, or we didn't hear or see anything. So if we didn't have ShotSpotter, we wouldn't find these things.
Yeah, that's true.
No,
but then
we
again,
don't get the most cooperation. So
yeah,
I'm telling you, it's a great program, and then it also tells us an accurate portrayal of where our gunfire and gun crime is occurring. So we're not wasting our time sending officers to neighborhoods that don't need it. We put all of our police resources to where they need to go.
Yeah,
and
you
that
keep track
ShotSpotter
of
helps us with
everything.
that. Yeah, it's a great technology.
That's really cool.
And people might look at the expense, but how can you put a cost on public safety?
You can't.
You can't.
You cannot do that.
No, you can't.
Cannot do that. I almost called you Sergeant, but those days are gone.
You
Lieutenant.
call me whatever you want.
Matt, buddy
Right.
Matt. Mighty Matt. Lieutenant Matt Malinowski, Syracuse Police Department. Thanks for coming by and hanging out here with us at the Wolf. And the second time around, the chair didn't even get. It's an honor to hang with you.
Now we've done 30 minutes of interviews.
I know. Look at that. We doubled this baby up, and if you'll see a little black box underneath this one.
Right.
Disregard that. That was a mistake. Because I'm a radio guy, not a TV guy, so that's what was going on. Perfect. Now, if Amanda was here, it'd be perfect.
I agree.
So
I agree.
she's going to come on. She said she would do an interview, so we're going to talk.
That's going to be a lot of people going to tune in. She's a pretty good guest.
Yeah,
so,
I know. I love it. I love it. She's great. Lieutenant, thank you for being here. Thank you for your great advice, and thanks for stopping by. Have a good